What is up, party people? It's Dan, your basement guitar superstar. It is my honor and privilege to bring you another episode of Creator Spotlight. And today we are with a young guitarist that I am extremely excited about his future. I found out about him on Instagram through Paul Diallo, who I have also had on this show, Polyboy Blues. And so thank you, Rylee, for joining me. I appreciate it. Disclaimer with this, guys, Rylee is only 16, so I did get verbal permission from his parents to interview him for this. So just in case anybody's wondering that, but put your hands together for Mr. Rylee Chavez.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to this.
Hey, no problem, man. So talk to me. I know you've given me a little bit of history on you, but for people watching this, what got you wanting to start playing guitar in the first place?
So I was a little younger. I started playing about 2 years ago, and I for the first year was all acoustic stuff. I just kind of picked up the acoustic guitar out of curiosity, and then around quarantine last year, because I played acoustic for about a year. And then quarantine last year, I found Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it just that is probably the best introduction into blues because you can just find Stevie and then go backwards from there.
Right.
And I found Stevie, and it was kind of no turning back. I started playing my electric more because I had owned an electric, but it wasn't. When I finally got this one was when I was like, okay, this is serious. And I found Stevie, and from there I started finding other players. Like my number one influence is Mike Bloomfield, I would say, because I take more from him playing wise than anyone else. And I found all of these people because of Stevie, and that is the reason why I take guitar so seriously. That's like what kind of started the difference between prior to that, acoustic was just a hobby. And then when I started playing electric, it was like I was playing like at least 5 hours a day, just trying to get as good as I could, listening to records and watching YouTube videos of them playing and just really doing a deep dive on them. And that was all because of Stevie.
Okay, so you started studying guys that you were excited about then, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And really doing that deep dive. Have you taken any lessons at all, or are you self-taught mostly?
I did. So that first year of doing acoustic, there was some online stuff that I did. I took some online lessons, just you can pay and then it's a course basically.
Oh, sure.
But I never did anything with electric. When I started playing electric, it was all just listening, trying to see what guys were doing with their hands, like watching my favorite performances and just listening to records and studying them. Like it was, probably studying them more than I was doing homework at the time.
Oh, geez.
Just working on it and really just taking it seriously and having fun with it. And that was where I started my love for blues.
Awesome. So why blues? Why not rock or punk or, pop or any of that?
To be honest,
Blues appeals to you.
I don't really know. That's funny that you asked that, because as of this last week, I've had like this weird thought process in the past since I started playing blues, where it's almost like blues is all I can do,
Right.
and now I'm listening to other genres of music, and it's really opening me up as a musician even more. So I can it's really interesting. I am learning how to separate listening to music from playing music. So I'll listen to 90s hip hop, 70s, chill, like Allman Brothers, America, folk, Bob Dylan, stuff like that all day. And then when I pick up the guitar, I'll start listening to Buddy Guy or any of my other favorite blues musicians. And I feel like I'm honestly a better blues player when I'm listening to completely different genres outside of when I'm playing blues, because it's like you're pulling flavor from different areas, and you would not get that if you're just listening to blues all the time. But with that being said, blues is where I'm most comfortable and where I feel most at home on the guitar. I've tried doing other stuff. I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, so I'm trying to do that stuff as of late. But for the most part, blues is what really feels like home base to me. Like that's what I'm comfortable with.
Sure. And that's a great place to start too, because if you look at, some of the all-time greats like Clapton and Jimmy Page and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and
Mhm.
not as much Stevie Ray Vaughan, but Clapton and Page and some of those guys started out as blues players fundamentally and then branched out into doing other things. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's definitely good to get into. So what, I know you're holding that purple Telecaster that I see in most of your videos. What was your first electric and do you still have it?
My first electric was it's kind of funny. I took like 2 lessons when I like actual in-person lessons when I was in about 5th grade, but I had zero passion for music and the guy was trying to get me to do scales and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So just completely stopped. My parents had bought me like a cheap Squire, like a really cheap Squire. Those
Oh,
start like $150 and you get the amp and the guitar. So
okay.
it was Sunburst Stratocaster Squire. And that was technically my first electric. During quarantine, that's what I played on mostly. And then I saved up and my dad, because I don't do any sports or anything. When I found guitar, it was like, this is what I'm good at. I'm just going to focus on this.
Right.
So my dad told me, he was like, I don't have to buy you cleats. We don't have to buy gas to travel anywhere or anything. So if you want to buy, a better guitar or a better amp, I'll pay for half of it. If you can pay, you can show me that you're really interested in it and you put in half, I'll pay half. So that my dad met me halfway on this guitar
Nice.
uh, around quarantine last year, kind of towards the end of the COVID stuff last year. And I was able to save up and get this guitar. It's a Fender Road Worn 2019 Telecaster. And it's my favorite guitar ever. I've never played a guitar that plays as good as this one.
Now, what are the necks on those like? Are they the slim tapered C? Are they the thicker, chunkier ones? Or
It's pretty fat.
okay,
It's a pretty fat neck. I've always preferred fatter necks because my thumb, if you notice, my thumbs are really messed up. It's like very double jointed.
right?
And when I'm playing, something about playing a fatter neck, like my thumb rests happily on top more. And I do a lot of the Hendrixy, and just
Right.
having that access to the thumb over top, I've always felt like fatter necks kind of help with that style more.
Right. Cool, man. So it sounds like you play about 5 hours a day, or you did starting out. How often do you play now? I'm
Um,
assuming daily, right?
yeah, on average, it's at least 3 hours a day, uh, just studying. And that's because I'll get home and even if I've been working all day, um, I'll lay in bed and just play. Like even if I'm not listening to any tracks or doing any like deep dives, whenever I have an opportunity, even if it's just like picking up an acoustic, just having a guitar in my hands when I'm not doing anything else. It's like how some people, when they don't have anything else to do, they'll sit down and watch TV. I
Right.
will sit down and watch TV and practice scales with a guitar in my hand. Like that's kind of my relationship with guitar. So it's not 100% like pedal to the metal doing crank stuff all the time. It's just like sometimes I'll be relaxing or doing whatever, and I just am holding a guitar and messing around. Now, it used to be a lot more study based where I'd like sit down with the intent of learning something, but it's not as much that anymore. Sometimes I'll like set aside one day of the week where I'm just going to like study tracks that I've been digging a lot that week really hard. But for the most part, it's kind of chilled out more, and I'm just working on maintaining what I already know and learning a couple new licks here and there.
Now, do you prefer to play rhythm or lead usually? Because I see those collab videos where you've been doing those open mic nights or whatever, and it
Yeah,
seems like you're comfortable in both instances. So I just was curious which one you prefer.
I would argue that I'm a better rhythm player than I am a lead player. Um, so I am more comfortable playing rhythm. I listened to a lot of Sonny Boy Williamson and Buddy Guy
Right.
and Junior Wells, all those old Chicago guys. And just listening to like Sonny Boy Williamson, you learn stuff like this. So that stuff always caught my attention, and I was trying to learn it when I first started. And I've always been a more rhythm-based player because I started out on acoustic that first year. So I was doing all chord stuff. There was no soloing until about a year and maybe a half ago. So it's like that's where I am most comfortable. But with that being said, my lead playing is getting to a point where I'm feeling pretty like it's about equal right now. I don't mind playing rhythm because if you can spice it up, like you can make any rhythm your own and make it not boring. And it's fun to do. But with that being said, there's also something fun about just ripping into a solo. So,
Right. So when it comes to playing live, it seems like, at least on your Instagram videos, and for those of you watching, I will post a link to Rylee's Instagram in the description where you can see all of his stuff. Do you have like a Facebook or YouTube or any of that too? Before I ask my question.
I do have a Facebook, but I'm not active on it at all. So
Okay.
I would just say Instagram, and then I am doing a TikTok as well. I have a TikTok account.
Okay. Send me the link to the TikTok, and then I'll post the link to your Instagram.
Awesome.
But what I was going to ask is, when it comes to playing live, it seems like, at least in those videos, it's kind of the same group of guys that show up every time. Do you feel like you're building pretty good chemistry? Like, is there a potential for us to see like the Rylee Chavez band or something touring eventually, or how's that?
I really wish. But the funny thing about that is like, it's not like I'm playing a full set with those guys and then I pick like one or two songs. I only play like to post the next day, or like 1 or 2 minutes from a couple of songs to post the next day. I am only playing like 2 or 3 songs a night there because it's a jam. And it's a jazz jam. Funny thing, they don't really, I'm the only person who plays blues there. I don't want to say it's frowned upon, but they definitely want to keep it more jazz oriented, but that's the only place I have to play. So I keep showing up there. It's once a month, and I would like to get a group together sometime, but I'm not sure if that's the group of guys that I would build it with, because they tend to be more into jazz stuff, and it's the same reason why like myself as a guitarist wouldn't want to be in like a pop group. That's like, jazz is their thing, and I don't want them to step outside of their little, the thing that they're already doing. And they're
You
also,
want guys that are all in with the blues and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you were what, Brookings, South Dakota area? Is there not, I'm assuming there's not a blues scene there, since you have to travel to Sioux Falls to do those open mic nights, right? Or those jams.
Yeah, there's zero scene here at all for anything. There's no music in Brookings, South Dakota.
That surprises me, because with it being a college town, you'd think there'd be at least a couple places, you know.
Yeah, I really wish there was, because I just really wish I had a place where I could just play blues all night instead of needing to worry about like at a jazz jam. Okay, I'm gonna try and do a blues song now. So it's yeah, that'd be really cool if we actually had something.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any, like, I must, you're a 16-year-old dude. I'm sure you have a ton of friends because you're an awesome guy from what I can see. Do
Thank
you have any other guys that are musicians that are like bass or drums that you could do jams with there in Brookings?
I do not. I have one friend who's a guitarist who lives in Sioux Falls. He's the only other musician friend that I have.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I know.
So what's it, going off that? I mean, obviously, if you're wanting to play the blues and you're pretty serious about it, your
Yeah,
talent level is off the charts as far as I'm concerned. Um,
thank you.
so I think you have a very, very bright future ahead of you as a musician. What's kind of your 5 to 10 year plan, do you think? I know you had expressed before when we chatted on Instagram briefly, kind of wanting to move to some place that's a little bit more open. Is that still on the cards?
Yeah, I'm hoping to when I graduate, I'm hoping to move to Dallas. If you know, are you aware of Lucas Plowman on Instagram?
I've heard of him. I don't think I'm following him.
Okay.
Sounds like I need to, though.
Oh, you definitely do. He just won second place in the Dallas International Guitar Festival 10 under 20 competition. So he's an incredible guitar player, and he's a good friend of mine. And I have a couple other friends who are in this Instagram blues guitar community, and like 3 of them live in Dallas. So my plan is to move down to Texas one day, hopefully soon. Like, a lot of people are like, well, I would move, but I have to go to college and stuff. College is nowhere within my plan. I struggle with school a lot. I don't really have a reason to go. I just want to go somewhere and play music and work as many jobs as I have to, support myself until maybe I make it, if that's even a possibility. But I just want to go somewhere and play, get some experience while I'm still young.
Sure. Well, and with a huge metro area like Dallas, Fort Worth, there's obviously going to be a ton of opportunities and stuff too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So talk to me. I know this is kind of an awkward question, Rylee, but you being 16, because I know when I was in high school, I started out playing drums actually, but I was also in sports. Are your friends in high school pretty supportive of you not doing the sports thing? Like, are they like, oh, Rylee's this awesome guitar player? And
well, it's weird because it was like, so I moved in 8th grade. When I started playing guitar, because I'm going to go into my junior year, when I started playing guitar, it was like at the end of my 8th grade year. And I didn't really have many friends. I've always struggled with making friends either way. So it's just like, because I've always had different interests than all the people in my grade did. And I always struggled in sports because that was like the thing that you were supposed to do. So I did it.
Right. That's
small.
why I'm asking the question. That's kind of why I did. Well, I enjoyed playing too, but
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, my friends, I have one really good friend, and then I have like this friend group that I hang out with a lot. And I was just hanging out with them last night, and they're really supportive of it all. They they all are always reposting my stuff on their story and talking to me about the guitar thing. And it's really fun because we're all like, my friend, I go to his basketball games and he goes to the jams. Right. So everyone's into different things. None of them are better than the other. It's just fun.
That's awesome. So to change the subject back to guitar, what's that beautiful white guitar you got behind you? Is that the one that you were playing in that shop in Rapid City on that Instagram post from a few months ago?
Oh, I wish. That was an SG. But this is a Stratocaster that I got. It's a made in Mexico. Okay. But it's so weird. So like, I'm borrowing this Les Paul right now and I really like it, but I've never been able to click with that guitar. It's just, sometimes you play an instrument and it's not necessarily a bad instrument. It's just like, it doesn't feel like you when you're playing it. I feel like I feel like I'm at home when I'm playing this Telecaster. I don't know what it is. It's just something about this guitar feels right to me. That Les Paul is slowly getting there for me, which kind of sucks because I'm going to have to give it back to the guy soon. But that guitar I've never really clicked with. So I posted a couple videos with it, hoping that maybe I could force myself to like it, or maybe trick myself into liking it enough to like actually start enjoying playing it. But every time I'm playing that guitar, I just wish I was playing my Tele. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do it because you did that Star Spangled Banner video, which I really enjoyed. I'm surprised you didn't do that one with the Tele.
Oh, really? I found that if you notice at the end, I switched to the neck pickup and I had the tone rolled all the way off. So it worked for that like Gary Moore Still Got the Blues tone. And I felt like that was way better than what the Tele's capable of, just for that job.
I still enjoyed it. I was just surprised you didn't use the Tele because that's, or 90% of the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I get what you're saying completely. Guitars are tools for different jobs, and the Les Paul worked for that. So, yeah.
And it looks like you got a good crowd in the neighborhood too. So congrats on that, man. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. It was really fun. It was my dad's friend was getting together a bunch of his army friends and stuff, and they did this Independence Games. So he wanted me to kick it off with the Star Spangled Banner early that morning. So we woke up probably every neighbor that wasn't at the event, and it was really fun. It was loud, and I think you could kind of tell in the video. I was using no pedals. That was all amplifier. That was cranked down.
Nice. Yeah, dude, I've been wanting to do that, and I started learning the Star Spangled Banner this year, but I just, my backlog for the channel right now, I'm starting to get so much stuff sent to me to do
Yeah,
reviews on that I just don't have time to, work on other stuff right now.
I get it. I get it.
Maybe
I
next year.
I didn't know I was gonna play the anthem until the night before. So I just played for like 5 hours the night before out of fear that I would mess up live. And he asked me that day, like the day before that morning, when I played it in the video. So I was like, oh, I need to learn that song. So I just started. I tried a couple different things. At first, I was gonna do like a slide arrangement, and I was like, this isn't gonna work. Then I was gonna do like the Hendrixy thing, and I was like, that's not gonna work. And I
Right,
just settled on that, and I was like, this is safe. I don't want to do anything too crazy because I just learned the song.
right. No, it sounded great though. Trying to think of what. Speaking of your tone, you said you had the amp cranked all the way. What do you use for amp primarily?
I have a Fender Blues Junior that I play.
Okay, awesome. And then I know you've talked about a couple different pedals you use. One being the Tube Screamer. Do you use anything else besides like a TS9 or whatever?
I actually don't use a tube screamer.
Oh, I
I
thought you did for one of your videos. That's my bad. Oh
oh
no,
no, it
that was Paul that did that. Sorry.
was Paul. Because I remember watching that interview and he talked about the TS9.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always just cranked the amp whenever I can. So my plan used to be, this is probably the best way of making videos. I don't do this anymore because it's the summer and everyone's home. But I used to get home early from school before anyone else did. And if I had like this 30-minute window before anyone else got home, I'd go live and I'd play with like 4 or 5 backing tracks and I'd just crank the amp as loud as I could. And I would usually do that and get some sort of video of me playing and it would work. So then I would post that video before the day was over. And that was kind of what my plan was. Like certain videos you can see are parts of a larger live stream that I posted a while ago.
Right.
So that plan, and that's when I started really understanding how awesome it is to crank tube amps. So,
Yeah, it is pretty awesome. What I mean, you've mentioned your buddy that lives down in Dallas.
Mhm.
What who else are you excited about right now as far as guitarists go?
I'm a big, do you mean like people that are alive right now
Yeah,
or? Okay. Yeah, Robin Ford, I know that he's not recent. I mean, obviously all the Yellow Jackets stuff that was in like the late 60s, early 70s,
right.
but Robin Ford is still alive and I'd love to see him one day live. That's like my dream. Um, Gary Clark Jr. is one of my favorites. I've been a fan of his playing for a while. I remember my dad sent me one of his videos one morning and I hadn't heard of him before. And I was like, who is this guy? Like it was a big deal for me because I think that we often trick ourselves into thinking that guitar and blues guitar is a thing of the past. And then we see people nowadays and we're like, oh no, it's alive and well. And Gary did that for me. So he's one that I would really like to see. And I know this sounds, I would really like, if there's any person that in the future I could work with, I want to work with Gary Clark Jr.
Nice. Are we ever going to see a collab between you and Paul Diallo? Do you think?
I think we've been trying to do that for a while, but it's weird because like we kind of have our own things going on right now. And we're actually going in two very different directions musically. I'm going more towards the clean blues stuff like B.B. King and some of the earlier Freddie King and Albert King stuff.
Right.
And he's going towards the Hendrix stuff hard and heavy, and it's awesome. But with that being said, a collaboration between us with our current differences in listening, like what we're into right now, I don't know how that would go. But with that being said, it will probably happen one day. I just can't say how soon it's going to be.
Well, I am looking forward to the day that that happens. I will be first in line to listen to that. Um, do you write your own songs, or have you thought about it at all?
Yeah, I've been writing quite a bit lately. Are you familiar with, because some people either really know this band or they only know a few songs. Are you familiar with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young?
I mean, I know their hits, but that's about it.
Yeah. So writing wise, that is the direction I'm going in. I really like that stuff. Some of the more grateful, like the more mellow Grateful Dead stuff, I'm really digging right now, where it's just like basically chill blues.
So like, not the more jammier stuff, just kind of the more subtle.
Yeah, I'm just learning how to write because I have about 2 years to write all the crap songs I need before I can actually, because writing's a difficult thing. You
Right.
can't come, especially as a 16-year-old, you don't want to come across as like too sappy or anything. So it's like just trying to make it feel somewhat real without it feeling like a watered down white kid playing the blues is it's difficult, but we're getting there.
Right. Trying to think. I had a bunch of questions written down for you here.
Okay.
Let me see what I haven't gotten to yet. What is in your CD player currently?
So I do not have a CD player. However,
Or on your Spotify or record or whatever?
I listen to a lot of vinyl, and I picked this up the other night. This is Grateful Dead. It's a live, and it has like this 23-minute live version of Dark Star that's absolutely incredible. So I cleaned this up the other night. I got it at a pawn shop for like $5, and I was able to clean it up. It was really scratched, but if you clean a record well enough, it can kind of like override the scratches. It's weird. But yeah, that's what I'm listening to a lot right now. I was playing that last night and earlier this morning.
Yeah. So with, you're starting to get a pretty good following on Instagram. You got over 1,200 now, I think last time I saw.
Yeah.
Has anybody followed you that you're just like, oh my God, I'm not worthy or any of that? Because I know I think I found out about Philip Sayce from either you or Paul Diallo, and I can't remember which one, but
I believe it was Paul. I watched the interview.
okay.
I think they Stace.
Anybody like that following you yet?
Well, Stace liked a couple of my videos. That was big when it first happened. But I'm not. Ooh, do you know who West Jeans is?
I've heard the name. I don't think I've heard his stuff before though.
He's one of the. Oh wait, no. I know exactly which one it is. James Taylor liked one of my posts.
Really?
Yeah,
When that James Taylor.
The James Taylor. I'm not sure who runs his account, but it's verified. And
Nice.
I like, how you can tag people in posts? I tagged James Taylor in one of my posts, and I was like, why not? And he liked it, and I was just like, geez, I don't really know what's going on, but this is cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you first picked up an electric, what was the first lick you learned?
First picked up an electric. What was the first? Okay. That Stevie Ray Vaughan thing.
Heck
That
yeah.
was I ever learned, and then from there it was like just trying to figure out what he was really doing during soloing and stuff.
Sure. Now, one last question for you, and this is more guitar playing oriented because a lot of like average guitarists watch this channel. What's something that, or has there been a period where you felt like you were kind of stagnating as a player, and what advice were you given, or what did you figure out as far as your playing, like licks or techniques or stuff to practice that helped you break out of that?
This is the best question. I would say the best way to get out of a rut musically, and it sucks when you get in a rut. It is like the worst feeling ever, especially for someone where it's like the guitar's all I have. And then if you're in a rut, it's a terrible feeling. And I don't think enough players talk about it. I would say that because I was just in a rut like 2 or 3 weeks ago, best way to get out of it is to do two things. I would say don't be afraid to not pick up the guitar. Only pick it up if you are feeling it. If you're not, don't pick it up because it's only going to make you more upset because you're going to like, if I'm playing the exact same licks over and over again and then I pick up the guitar with a hope it's going to be different, It's not going to be. Albert Einstein said, I believe insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, something along the lines of that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I would say don't pick up the guitar unless you're feeling it. And number two, what's the genre of music that you dislike the most? Go listen to that and then listen to something that you like. Because here's what I do. And the only genre that I genuinely dislike is modern country. Old country I love. I love old country, like Waylon.
Same way, dude.
Yeah, but modern country I just can't do. I don't know what it is. I've just never been able to dig it. And so if I'm not feeling music but I want to, I'll listen to one modern country song and then I'll go back to the stuff that I like. And it makes you like appreciate it more. Like, I don't know how I wasn't feeling this prior. So go listen to a genre that you don't like and then go listen to a Buddy Guy song. And it will make you want to pick up that guitar. But if you don't worry. Just listen to other genres of music that you also like, but are as far away from what you're playing as possible. And I feel like that's the best way to get out of a rut. Just don't you can't force yourself out of one. It just happens and you have to kind of ride it out.
Right. So what's next for Rylee Chavez then?
I am going to continue playing in South Dakota for about 2 years, just doing this thing in my bedroom, I think. And then when I graduate, I'm going to move to Dallas or somewhere where I can actually do something, I think.
Awesome. And it sounds like your parents have been pretty supportive of it and stuff too. So that's always great.
Yeah, they're very supportive. They're great.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you talking to me. And is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to?
I don't think so, unless you have anything else.
No, and let me close then. So thank you so much for watching. Everybody that's watching this is Rylee Chavez. He is a 16-year-old guitarist who is amazing from South Dakota that I am very stoked about his career and will follow him for a long time. I know he'll do great things once he gets put in the right situation, gets seen by the right people. I will post everywhere where you can find his music in the description of this video, as well as stuff from his influences that we talked about during this video. As always, thank you so much for watching and have fun playing.